XBN Family. Ashkan, CEO, Extreme Body Nutrition, here at Fam.Tampa with CEO and owner Anastasia. Before we get started with the video, if you want to kind of go over what exactly is Fam.Tampa.
Yeah, we're a new gym here in Tampa. We're an extension of Flex Appeal Miami. We've been here since, I want to say March of last year now. We're just an old school, family-friendly style bodybuilding gym. We have people of all ages here, all backgrounds, all sports. Or I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great gym. You've seen my videos on it. It has really unique equipment, and it's really for anybody in any goal.
Yeah.
You don't have to just be a bodybuilder competing. If you're looking to lose weight, gain weight, it doesn't matter if you just want a great gym. This is where you should go. So check them out. Follow them on IG. Come in here. I think you guys got a free day pass.
Yeah, we do a day pass if you come through them. So
yeah, just mention Extreme Body Nutrition. They'll let you in, and honestly, you're gonna have an amazing workout. So let's get on to the video. This is actually take 2. The first one messed up, but whatever. We're not gonna go dive into that. So we're gonna go over this again, and we're gonna nail it. So what makes a good coach? So before we actually do that, we're gonna say how to spot a bad coach. And I honestly, we only really got one little thing on this. It's kind of big. Me personally, I think not the worst coaches, but bad coaches typically are the ones that are genetically gifted. Don't really have to work that hard to get where they're at, or just kind of lay down and just get through it. So, I feel like you're not gonna ask like Phil Heath how did he get big arms. He just naturally got that. So typically the best coaches are the ones that were like not the best athletes. So we discussed it before, like John Meadows, Chris Aceto, Dave Palumbo, Matt Jansen. He's an athlete himself. He does compete. Is he going to win in Olympia? Probably not. But he's an amazing coach.
His clients, probably.
And has his clients won over? So. Didn't one just win or get second or third?
Second and third, he gets a lot of them.
So yeah, most good coaches weren't the best of athletes. So,
but even on a smaller scale, look at somebody that has been skinny their whole lives, the whole time you've known them, and now they're trying to give out weight loss advice. It's the same thing with growing a muscle group. If they've had a genetically gifted whatever their whole lives and now they're trying to teach you how to do it, what do they really know about building it?
Yeah, and we'll actually kind of get into that in a little bit. So what makes a good coach? And we're going to go over also how to find them or what to look for essentially. So the first one is probably the most important, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah, besides obviously their knowledge, but it's a good resume and their past clients. So I'll let you go ahead and go with that first.
As far as that goes, anyone can really get themselves into shape, but can they get somebody else into shape? And you don't want to look at their best 1 or 2 athletes that they post all the time. Look at all of their athletes. Look at their lifestyle clients. Look at their prep clients. Look at their health and wellness clients. Look at everything they've done and see the results. A good coach should let you talk to some of their clients too, if you wanted to.
Yeah, a good track record is definitely important. So you want to make sure. They're going to have their genetic anomalies that are going to win shows. Like a lot of coaches have that. But you also want to see what they do with the other ones. Mm-hmm. So the ones that aren't the genetically gifted but have transformed them.
Look at their older clients. I have a lot of masters clients that do really well. And that's something that people have pointed out to me. They say, if you can get people 50 and up into shape, you must kind of have an idea about what you're doing. Yeah,
same ones like if they're like obese and then they step on stage. If you can do that, that's pretty hard. Because, we'll go into that a little bit later. But anybody can diet down. But dieting for a show is a lot different. But we'll dive into that a little bit. So one of the big things that I like, a pet peeve, or you want to say, is that I don't like what a coach do is when they approach you. If a coach comes up to you personally, hey, I can do your diet, I can get you in the best shape, you're like this, that, and the other, I don't typically go for those. If you're a good coach, you don't really beg for clients. You go off, clients kind of refer you to them. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add on to that.
What I was telling him in the first video that he deleted was...
I didn't delete, the camera messed up.
You see things like Lambo, Gucci, like all the really high-end designer, anything. How much advertising do you really see for them? Yeah. They don't have to advertise. Their work, their product speaks for itself. And it's the same way of coaching clients. If you have people saying, only 3 slots open for my online clients, sign up today, or hey, I could do your diet better than your coach did. They're doing that for a reason. They're doing that because they don't have any clients to concentrate on.
Yeah, so that's actually something different we've discussed. That's actually a good one. So the ones that market super heavy. Now, I'm not saying marketing is bad because we're in a day and age where social media and everything is so prevalent that you have to. But the one that markets so much, like there's one, I'll mention him, like Nick World Class, what's his name, Nick Trigili?
Oh, yeah.
I can't stand that, man. I'm sorry. Like, I know he's not going to watch this.
Or name drop him.
Or name him, because he's not going to watch this video. If he does, then he probably has no life. But he posts up so much, but he's so bad, wants to be a guru that it's kind of like, okay, relax. And the way he markets, and I've actually seen some things that he's actually done, like personally that he's not personally. I'm sorry that I've actually had some people tell me that he'll ask his clients to post up transformation from previous years, and he'll claim it as his own. So that's another marketing
I've seen that as well.
So yeah, I don't mean the name drop, but he's not gonna watch this video. And you guys like for my honesty, so I'm gonna bring it out here. So doesn't approach you or beg for clients. So we'll go to this one too. Let's skip the third.
So the next one is dieting down, like you mentioned before, versus a contest prep. It may not seem like it for most people, but losing weight, losing body fat is really not hard. It's not a hard thing to do. You eat less than you're using, you're gonna lose weight. That is not the same as a contest prep, and it's good to have a coach that understands that and make sure you have an understanding of that as well. Because if you're just having a coach that signs on clients, oh, you wanna do a bodybuilding show? Great, let's do it, without telling them what to expect and telling them how difficult it will be, they're not preparing you for it and they're not really invested in your success in it.
Yeah, one thing that I find funny is you have like a 4-pack or a 6-pack and you're shredded. Yeah. Like, so I've seen that so many times, like, oh man, my client was shredded, and I look at him, I'm like,
I have abs right now and I'm not.
I mean, when I wake up, I have like maybe the 4-pack, but as soon as I look at a piece of rice or something, it's gone. So yeah. I'm by no means shredded, but apparently to their standards, we're shredded. So you don't need me to diet down. Good job, high five. So yeah, dieting down, yeah, like you mentioned, is easy. Anybody can lose weight. You have a certain amount of macros. Okay, drop it down, maybe increase cardio, and you're gonna diet down. You're gonna lose weight.
But bodybuilding isn't a weight loss show.
Exactly.
It's, can I have good muscle condition? Do I look peeled? Have I lost body fat and maintain muscle at the same time? And that's hard to do. Mm-hmm. I've seen people lose weight and lose it quickly, but their strength goes down, their performance goes down, and they don't look as good.
Yeah. And I've actually had clients they think they have to only lose like 10 pounds in order to step on stage, and I'm like, that's absolutely ridiculous. You actually have like 30 pounds of muscle,
yeah.
Or I'm sorry, not muscle, fat to lose, and they're like, I don't have that much. I'm like, just trust me, you do. And then that's gonna go down to the honesty segment of it, and we'll talk about that later. But yeah, dieting down, like we mentioned, is easy, but contest prep isn't. They have to understand, and also they have to understand how peak week, because if you mess up your peak week, you basically diet it out for nothing, because that's one of the most important. I mean, everything's important, but peak week, you have to nail it.
If you have a coach that's changing a lot of variables for peak week too, I know we didn't discuss this the first time around, but if you have a coach that, okay, it's peak week, we have to do everything different, we have to do this now and that now, that's a red flag too.
You know, actually what I find that funny is, I find it funny when I see coaches give their peak week to their clients a week before or even a week and a half. Like, this is what we're gonna do.
How do you know?
I have messages from even my previous client that can be like, what are we doing for peak week? I was like, I don't know, we'll find out that morning.
Yeah.
We'll find out what you're gonna do that Tuesday morning, that Wednesday morning. I don't know what we can do. I don't know how your body's gonna respond.
Because it's a day-to-day thing.
It's an hour to thing as you get closer. It really is, even minute to minute. Like, it really is getting down and like to the like detail of that. So if you have a coach that's giving you your plan 2 weeks out, it's kind of, that could be kind of a cookie cutter, which is a question we got, that we're gonna answer. So dieting down, contest prep, definitely difficult. And that kind of segues into the next thing. What makes a good coach? Their knowledge on nutrition. They have to know how food works. They can't just recommend just basic rice to someone or this, that, and the other. They have to understand how food works for the individual, which takes time, I understand, but they have to already have an understanding of how it works.
And food is the most important process of this. I mean, it's not, cardio's great, training's great, supplementation of all types, great, but if you don't understand food and how that works, you're not gonna have the rest of it fall into place. That's the key. And if you have a coach that's trying to have you do excess cardio, make up, or having you supplement in a way that that's not making up for the food, then they're not a good coach. Yeah, food is the most anabolic substance you have.
Exactly, and if they're honestly just giving you the most basic, like, okay, 4 meals of just chicken, and you're like, okay, this is kind of ridiculous. So a coach that understands, okay, maybe, instead of dropping down food, let's increase cardio because we don't want to do this, or maybe vice versa. They have to understand how food works for the individual, or they're going to get nowhere.
And that goes back again to losing weight versus dieting down for a show. Because again, you remove food, you're going to lose weight.
Yeah, I have an example for this. So I don't remember if it was the last show he could be, no, it was like maybe the show before, but he got ready within like 2 or 3 weeks. So what we do, we increase his calories leading up to the show. It's kind of we actually reverse dieted into the show, and he ended up winning the show. So it's like they kind of understand that. So a lot of coaches would be like, okay, we're ready. Let's diet him down even further. No, they could lose more muscle. They can fatigue out. They can like lose way more glycogen to where it's going to be hard as hell to fill them out. So they have to understand what to do in those circumstances.
And on the adverse side of that, if you're not losing weight, you don't want a coach that is blaming you for the weight loss not happening.
Yeah, and also, and then second is, if you're not losing weight, okay, let's just drop the calories even more and increase the cardio. So we had an example, like, you know, my girlfriend, for example, worked with a coach. She hit a plateau, and I'm sure you've had clients like this. So and she was dieting down for a show, got it ready. This is Bubba, by the way. You know, like I'm seriously like squirrel. So this is Bubba.
Every time you talk about food, he's like, yes.
Oh, that is so true. Every time we talk about food, he comes in. Learns from his owner. So I forgot what else. Oh, so my girlfriend, for example, was getting ready for a show, and for like 2 or 3 weeks, she hit a plateau. Wasn't really losing weight, but her coach, being as knowledgeable as he was, his name is Will Grazione, did a smart thing. Instead of lowering calories and increasing cardio, he actually gave her a diet break, which worked phenomenally. We could go over diet break in another video. But yeah, food knowledge and proper knowledge of food is definitely beneficial. So if you want to actually introduce Bubba, because he really wants to be in the
Bubba
video.
says hi. He's a rescue dog. We got him a week ago, so we're still working on him, aren't we? He's a good boy.
Yeah, that's another thing. Adopt, don't shop.
Yes.
So yeah, we did a thing with Humane Society, got dogs adopted as a
He's a senior dog. He's old. Say hi.
Yeah, he's still a puppy. Look at him.
Hello.
All right, so we'll go to the next thing, number 7, before we
Number
get to
7?
it. Yeah.
Proper communication. That's a big one. You don't want a coach that's waiting a whole week to answer you. Again, you are a paying customer. They need to treat you like you're a paying customer.
Yeah. And also, you don't want a coach that one-words you, or when you ask, hey, why do we do this? They just say, because I said so.
That was a big one. One of my first coaches, and I think he said the same thing. I had a coach that I would ask him a question. He'd say, just wait and find out. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm not your child.
Yeah.
You're not my parent. I'm paying you to provide a service, and I want to understand what's going on. And just from a coach level, I have a client that's asking me a lot of questions. I think, okay, they're really interested in what we're doing. They want to know why we're doing this, and they probably want to put more effort into it because they know what's going on. So I think that's a good thing.
And you want to teach them.
Exactly.
Because you want to eventually have them either do it on their own or be able to coach other people because they learn from you and other things. So it's kind of like a full circle. Like you teach them, they teach others, kind of thing. But as long as they actually know, but they're going to gain that knowledge from good coaches.
Yes.
So proper communication is important. So you have a coach. Are they going to respond within 24 to 48 hours? Or are they going to respond within a week? And when they respond, what do they say? Oh, it looks good. Next, fill me a next check-in.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like, okay. Oh, that's cool. No, I'm not for that. Another thing, and this kind of like going hand in hand, is you want to, what makes a good coach? The ones that don't make crazy claims. The ones that aren't going to promise you something. The ones that aren't going to be like, oh, I'll make you pro within 2 years. I mean, it's nice to hear. It's cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But
yeah, that's never going to happen to me. But it'd be nice to hear.
we have to compete to go pro.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, so.
Okay, well then, 2020, my year. Just kidding. But doesn't make crazy claims. They're gonna be like, yo, man, I'm gonna make you last show you weighed 180 on stage, and they're gonna be like, no, you're gonna be 225 on stage. No, they don't know you, and they're just trying to get your money, honestly. So, I mean, I don't know if you have anything you want to say on that one.
You just want somebody that's gonna be honest with you. I had a client that just came to me. She left a coach that she had been interviewing with because he told her, and she wanted to compete figure, and she had a very good knowledge of what a figure competitor looks like. She'd been working out for a couple of years, and he told her that he could have her ready in I think 16 weeks, and she knew that she didn't have enough muscle. So the fact that he told her, oh, I can have you ready in 16 weeks, turned her off to him completely because she knew that wasn't reasonable.
Was it through email or in person that he met?
Through email.
So did she send him a physique?
Yeah, he had seen pictures of her, had looked at her, and he said, okay, 16 weeks, I'll have you on stage. She goes, no, I want to win. Like, I want to have a good experience, and I want to do the best I can.
Yeah, and then I compete. I mean, unfortunately, someone has to place last, but you don't want to be the one
No.
to place last.
No.
I mean, that happened to me, so again, probably why I don't compete. Promise, I'm not that shitty about it either. But that's gonna kind of segue into the next one, is giving honesty. Giving your honest. You want a coach that's gonna give you honest opinion in your physique. Like me personally, if I go up to a new coach and I'm like, yo, I want to step on stage on bodybuilding, I want someone to be like, okay, we can do that, but why are you looking at?
What are you, 96 weeks out?
Yeah, I'm like, no, what's weeks in, how many weeks is in 3 years? Yeah, exactly. That. I want a coach that's going to be honest and say, okay, well, if we do bodybuilding, we have to take 3 years off the stage and do this and that. Okay, you got my respect.
But a lot of coaches won't say it because they don't want to lose the client. Oh, it's going to be 3 years so I get on stage, well, I'll hold off on coaching. Okay.
Okay, well, let me know when you're ready. Or, same thing like you just mentioned. You got a client that's coming up to you, be like, hey, there's this so-and-so show in 14 weeks. I want to do it. Okay. Maybe you can do it, but you have to honestly look at the person and be like, look at their physique and see if it's actually doable. And second, if they can actually do well. Because no one wants to place last.
No.
So that's another one.
And as a coach, this is kind of the real talk of it. As a coach, you don't want to really have clients get on stage and not do their best, because that reflects poorly on you as a coach. But if you are so desperate for clients and so desperate for their income that you'll take somebody and just put them on stage just to do it, that shows how much pride you have in your work and on how you are as a coach.
Yeah, I'm sure you've had instances where people be like, I want to do bodybuilding. You're like, dude, you can't even do physique.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know, and as for coaches, you have to be honest on yourself. What is your specialty? Like we mentioned earlier, like, you know, we both, I know she's a successful coach and so am I. We both can honestly do both. Like, you know, I can do men and women's. What do I do? Mostly men's physiques and bodybuilding. And, you know, I do have where I do lifestyle diets for women, but is it my specialty? No. If a person comes up and be like, yo, I want to step on stage in a woman's figure, I'm like, okay, I can help you, but there's a person I know by the name of Anastasia that could probably help you better.
Same thing. Like, I'll do a couple men's lifestyle diets, but I've never done a male competitor diet because I don't feel comfortable with it. I don't think I'd be able to give them the best experience that they're looking for, so I would refer them to somebody else. And you want that from a coach. Like if you go to a coach and say, oh, you know, I've never done it before, but I can do it.
Fuck it, let's try it.
That's
playing with your health.
Playing with your health, playing with your money, playing with your time.
Too. Yeah, that's a lot of things that are wasted. So a good, honest coach that knows their ability. You know, there are coaches, like I said, I know she can, despite her saying she doesn't feel comfortable, she can do people's diets, and I know she'd do great. And I can do people's diets for women, but it's just being honest as a coach and honest with yourself and honest with your potential client. So you want a coach that's honest. And that goes back to their track record. So if you're asking, you know, a coach, if you're a woman, let's say you're asking a coach, can you do a figure? And they'd be like, yeah, and you look at the track record and it's all men. I'm like,
can you?
Or have you?
Yeah.
So there's that. So we kind of went over all the topics for what makes a good coach and what makes a bad coach. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The last thing we want to do is, this goes back to the client, is what can you afford? Because that's the main thing. Like, good coaches or great coaches cost a lot of money, and they're not here to nitpick and just, you know, they're not here to just piggyback and try to get any client. They're going to be like, okay, my rates are this. You can't do it? No problem. And that really comes down to the client.
And like I was telling him too before, you don't want to bargain prep. You don't want to get bargain food. You don't want a bargain experience. So a coach that's good is going to be a little bit more money. You don't want a bargain coach. However, on the completely opposite end of that, you don't want somebody that's charging exorbitant fees either, because that's going to stress you out.
Yeah. So you get what you pay for, essentially. It's like a tattoo. You know, are you going to go with the bargain tattoo or just to get a tattoo on your body? Or are you going to pay a little extra for the tattoo that's actually really good? I'm probably going to save up and go for I am going to save up and go for the tattoo that's actually really good, rather than worrying what the tattoo is going to look like when it's on me. So, you know, I know we've heard some outlandish ones, and we were kind of going over one today, and we won't eat this one. Yeah, we won't name drop this, but yeah, a couple $1,000 for just a prep or a diet. That's ridiculous. Like, I know personally, I've emailed some pretty good coaches. Like, for example, I'll say, I emailed Chris Aceto about 3 years ago, I think it was, for just general information. And at that time, he was, I'm sure he's a lot more now, but I think for the whole year, it was like 4,000. But that's for the whole year.
But honestly, and yeah, for him.
Well, break that down per month. Exactly, break that down per month. But with the one we heard, it was, what was it, 8 months for 8 or whatever, 6,000 or 5,000 for 6 months. I'm like, get out of here. No.
That's rent.
That's rent, but that's not only that. That's like, what are you getting? You're just literally like, you also have to look at the value. Like, yes, you're getting a diet, you're getting a good service, you're getting all that, but is it really worth that much? No, it's not. There's nothing. Unless you're gonna make me a millionaire, me giving you this on top of winning a show, then yeah, you got my money. So what can you afford is gonna go back to the client. So how to find a good coach or what makes a good coach, it also comes, what can you afford? And then, so for the client actually, or for both actually, you wanna treat the process of having a coach like an interview. So if I want Anastasia as my coach, I'm gonna sit down with her or through email and ask her a surplus amount of questions, and I'm sure she's gonna ask me because we're gonna both see if it's a good fit. So it's an interview. It's literally like you're getting a job and you're accepting the job. So you wanna make sure it's an interview, like you're a good fit for me and I'm a good fit for you.
And again, that goes back to an earlier question. You don't want a coach that is just taking on whoever shows up. Because I have had clients I've turned away either because I didn't think we were a good fit, or you know, a lot of times I'll have people say they want to prep or they want to do a show and they're first timers, and I'll sit them down and I'll tell them what really goes into it, how much money it is, how much time it is, how much effort it is, how tiring it is. And at the end of that conversation, they'll say, well, maybe that's not something I'm really ready for. And that's good. If you're not ready for it, don't do it.
Yeah, and another way you could find out what makes a good coach is, Let's say you have a client, and I have each one of my clients check in 1 to 2 times a week, and they miss an update. I'm like, okay, shit happens, whatever. And they miss the second update. If your coach isn't emailing you like, hey, where's your update? They genuinely just, all right, he forgot, I'm still gonna collect his money. So me personally, I give it 1 to 2 updates. I usually give it the first, like if you miss one update on your first one, I'm like, okay, they missed it, whatever. But after the second, I have it to where I message you like, hey man, I just wanna make sure, or hey, whatever, I wanna make sure everything's okay, where's your update?
Yeah.
And usually it's something like, oh, you know, I got caught up with school. I'm like, no problem, just make sure you update me because I actually genuinely care. And usually I give a three update minimum. So if you miss 3 updates without a genuine excuse, I cut you off.
Yeah, because, and I was telling, I don't know if I did it in this video or the other video you deleted, but I said, you know, I think it was this video, you as a coach want to be associated with clients that are doing well. You want your clients to do well because, again, that goes back to looking at your track record. Now, new clients are going to look at what your clients are doing, and if you have clients that just aren't putting the work in that they said they were going to put in, you don't want to keep them as a coach.
Yeah. And this actually can go not even just for coaching, but if you're looking for an opposing coach too, this is kind of a similar thing. Like if you're looking for a good opposing coach, let's say your coach doesn't know that and they recommend like, you know, a Kenny Wallach, which I know is phenomenal. They're the same thing. You know, you want to make sure they're attentive to you. They're treating you like their one-on-one service that you're paying for. So the same thing for hiring a coach for this is the same thing for opposing coach or any kind of coaches, you know, just minus the nutrition, I guess, if you're looking for like an athletic trainer or something like that. So this can be for anything really.
And something else I've heard of that, you should never feel like you're annoying or bothering your coach. Because
Yes.
I've had people tell me, oh, well, you know, I wanted to pose with so-and-so, but I didn't want to bother them. You shouldn't feel like you're paying them, right? You can bother them all you want. That's kind of what you sign up for.
Yeah. You're allowed to, I mean, if you're paying somebody, their access to you 24/7. Granted, I know, I don't check emails past like 9 or 10 o'clock, and they're going to understand. Yeah, like on Thanksgiving, you'd be like, hey man, what's my diet looking like today? I'm like, what?
I had a client at 3 a.m. one time text me and asked me if broccoli would bloat them.
I'm sure you responded. Yeah, don't you usually wake up at like 4 a.m. anyways, so don't sleep. But
that's not the point.
Good coach, don't sleep. No, no, yeah. So that one, I'm sure she probably looked at it. Was like, let me check this in the morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a client, kind of be respectful because they also have families and all that they have to.
But you shouldn't feel like you're bothering them.
Absolutely not. If you at any point feel like you're bothering your coach and you don't want to ask a question because you're too scared, that makes a bad coach.
It's a red flag.
So I know we have some questions.
Yeah.
I'm using my phone, so I had to send her the questions. So we'll go over that. So let's see what you got. So this is actually on my. I texted it to you. There you go. All right. So I actually got a message on mine. It says, how can you tell if a coach is BS / like cookie cutter? So I guess if they're sending cookie cutter diets.
I'm really big into, and I always recommend this with new people, talk to the other people they're training. Pretty much all of my clients at least know of each other or know each other. A lot of them work out together, so they can talk to each other. And I'm not afraid for them to talk to each other because none of them are doing the same thing. If you have a coach that is secretive about their clients and doesn't want you to form bonds with them, doesn't want you to talk to other clients, there's probably a reason for that because you all are doing the same thing.
Yeah, good point. Like I had a client come into my store today. He wanted to supplement a smoothie for his meal. And I was like, okay, what meal are you on? He's like, you don't remember it? I was like, no, I don't. Not everybody's diet's the same, and I'm not gonna memorize everybody's. So yeah, I mean that's a good way. Asking is probably the best way. Or honestly, if you're not getting results and they don't really make any changes,
that's a good indicator.
They're probably not the best. And then what's the other one? What characteristics should you look for in a coach, specifically for contest prep? I think we kind of touched base on.
We did.
Yeah. So
one good thing I'll emphasize about that too is, like we said at the very beginning, don't look for a coach that has a great track record in competing themselves. You want to look at what they've done for their clients. Like this guy hasn't competed in about 13 years, but he preps clients all the time for stage, and he's a good coach.
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, it's also just because like. I mean, I don't physically enjoy it. Like, it's honestly with myself. Am I going to be an IFBB pro? No. Is it a waste of my time to compete? Kind of, really. Like, to be honest with you, like, am I a bad bodybuilder? No. Am I the genetically gifted? Absolutely not. It's just being honest with myself. Do I work hard? Do I train hard? Do I eat right? All that? Yes. But it's just being honest with myself. So, yeah, that makes an excellent point. But you yourself, you compete a lot.
Yeah.
And you also have time for your clients. So, respect to you. I know you had another question on your personal.
We had one more.
Yeah, we have one more. So yeah, that's just me. I just don't really care for competing personally. I'll never rule it out, but it's not something that I see potentially happening. So this is a long one.
I think we answered putting the interests of the competitors first, full transparency and being honest with the competitor.
So if I may, here are some topics I feel are important with regards to what makes a good coach. Like, I don't know if this is a question. I guess this is more just kind of their opinion. I think you just lifted it. Yeah, this is actually not even a question. It says full transparency and being honest with the competitor, follow through consistently with the client, especially if there's multiple competitors at the same time, avoiding the cookie cutter mentality. Yeah, this is not really a question.
Well, I think what he's trying to say is I've seen a lot of the new thing now is like to have groups of competitors, like team so-and-so, team this and that. And a lot of times I think people feel that they get lost in teams. Like they'll identify the star of the team and then they feel like the other members are kind of just there on show day. And you should never feel like that. Like I like the team aspect because, you know, then you have buddies you can talk to backstage, but I also don't like it because it's not putting the competitor first, because bodybuilding is not a team sport. It's just you.
It's a very selfish sport.
It is. So if you don't have a coach that's putting you on your own as a center of their attention and then somebody else as a different center, they're just clumping them together, that can be a problem, especially on show day, because that's when you have to be, I mean, the whole peak week, you have to be watching them every hour of the day, checking in with them, looking at things, seeing what's working, what's not working, monitoring their progress. And if you're just treating it like a team, you're not giving everybody the individual attention that they need.
Yeah. And one thing I respect when coaches do is let's say there's a client you have, and you mentioned this earlier that you did, and I know I have done this before. If a client is not consistently updating you, if they're failing to check in, if they're not following diet, and they're just not really giving it at all, the coaches kind of cut them off. Those are the coaches that are great because they're the ones like, okay, you shouldn't be paying me because you're wasting money, and no offense, you're honestly wasting my time.
Yep.
So the coaches that don't necessarily, they don't do this for the money. Yes, the money's great. Yes, there's a lot of money to be made, but the money is there. You do this because you want to help people.
Yes.
So I know you yourself for a fact want to do this. So that's the main thing. Every coach, that's their goal is like, yeah, make money is great, but they want to help you. So a coach that basically is one, updating you and be like, where's your update? And two, if you're not following it kind of cuts you off. Those are the ones you kind of have to respect in its essence too. So yeah, so we kind of nailed everything. So what makes a good coach? Good resume, does know about macros, about food, how to properly diet you down with food and what to do in certain situations if you hit a plateau, communicates properly, doesn't make any crazy claims, and is honest with you. And I don't know if you have anything else you want to chime in.
I really think honesty is the best indicator you can look for. Not even just what they say to you, but how they are as a person.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I mean, everything's on social media now, so look at their social media.
Yeah, social media. Yeah, you don't want. Did we touch base on? Did we say marketing on this one? Was it the other video?
I think we said marketing. Yeah, we did talk about marketing on this one.
Yeah, the one that Arlie just bragging about social media.
Yeah.
Okay.
To add with that, like my business partner, Will, I'll name drop him in a positive way. He never markets. I have never seen him market. He'll just repost his clients. That's all he has to do. That's all you should have to do.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to say, oh, you know, sign up to get in with my 3-in-1 slot, or, you know, message people like, come work out with me for free for a week and see how you like it. You shouldn't have to do that.
And also a good one is look at the coach themselves. Like if they're doing bodybuilding, unless they've been into the business for years, like, you know, I'm not gonna look at Honey Rambo like he's shit because he's, you know, bigger, but I mean, like kind of get a gauge at the coach. If the coach, like, you know, you're doing women's physique, okay? So you're looking at yourself like, okay, she clearly does it, and she's done diets, and she's competed several times, and she's won, and she's had a resume, and she's had past clients do well. Okay, she's probably a good coach. So you kind of want to look at the coach too. If they're not taking care of themselves, probably not the good as far as for clients either, because they don't give a shit about themselves. That doesn't fall into everybody, because there has coaches that competed in the past that's like, you know what, man, I'm more about family and enjoying life, but I still can do it. Yeah, they're kind of segue.
I mean, look at like Shelby Starnes. He doesn't compete anymore, and he's a coach. He's a good coach.
I don't know how he looks like, so I don't know.
He's a little old.
He's like a water buffalo?
No. He didn't get like that.
I mean, look at like, but a perfect example of what I just said is Chris Aceto. Look, he used to compete, and he had a phenomenal athletic physique actually, but he wasn't like super genetically gifted. Don't take that like he's gonna win the Olympia. But now look at him, you can be like, that guy competed. Same with Dave Palumbo.
Yeah.
Dave Palumbo wasn't the best bodybuilder, but
he was huge.
But look at him now.
Yeah.
Doesn't care about that. But those don't fit what I'm trying to say. I'm talking about the ones that from the start just don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's not.
So stay away from that. So yeah, we nailed it. So we talked about what makes a good coach, what makes a bad coach, how to spot a bad coach. So we kind of over anything. So I want to thank you for allowing me to come in here. And before we end this, I actually do want to mention some things that we actually discussed before. So be on the lookout for some unique things coming with partnering with Extreme Body Nutrition and Fam.Tampa. We got something coming up in January. excited to talk to you guys about that we're going to be doing. So they're going to be a part of it. And I'm super excited about that. So on behalf of myself and Anastasia, we out.